We have quite a few pickups to get through today, so without any further ado, let's just jump straight into the first clip. And that was a charity shop of all places, some Xbox 360 games in the most unlikely of spots, and one that I actually wanted to pick up. I already have that WrestleMania, but this, I don't think I have, and I definitely don't have it in Game of the Year edition. Well, I looked at it a little bit closer because they only wanted £1, and that's a bit of a bargain. The only Call of Duties I own on the 360 are Black Ops and Black Ops 2, and that's kind of through choice. I am being a little bit picky. I don't want to pick up anything and everything, but I do have very fond memories of the first Modern Warfare. Unfortunately, and I think you knew that was coming because I wasn't going like this with it, it had a crack in the spindle, and it wasn't just a little one, it was completely split all the way through the disc, and yet they had it on sale, so they haven't even checked it. Very disappointing, and that is quite literally the only thing I have found in a charity shop recently worth showing off, and even that wasn't worth showing off. Anyway, should we get into something a little bit more exciting? This was a Vinted pickup, and you're going to see 3 of these in this video. I will go and actually pick up the other ones rather than have them sent to my house, but this was just far more convenient. And of course I am now collecting for the Xbox One/Series X. I'm just going to call it Xbox. If I say 360, you know what I'm talking about. The first game is going to be Team Sonic Racing. Is this a game I want, or is it a game I'm going to trade? Yeah, I want it. I'm quite sad. It came with a Sonic Mania. No, it didn't. It came with a Sonic Team Racing manual, and it was advertising Sonic Mania on the back. The disc is in reasonably good condition, just a bit of dust there. Nothing too bad, and that will be the very first game I add to my Xbox collection, alongside Cars Drive to Win, I think it's called. Very expensive game on the Wii U. I think it's £32. This wasn't in the best of conditions, as the seller said that it had heavy use from their son. But I really want to play it. I've wanted to play it for a long time. This is a game I don't know what to do with. This is Spyro. This is the sort of remastered collection, if you will. I don't know what it's called. The Reignited Trilogy. But I'm not really a big Spyro kind of person. This whole bundle, by the way, including delivery on Vinted, the car boot sale of the internet, was I think £11.29. Of course, it is on screen for you, has been for a little while now. But those 3 games, at the moment anyway, are going to go into the collection. And here they are. Now, I bought them for the collection. It was very, very cheap. I had some credit in my Vinted account, and I thought, well, I would go for it. I'm actually going to deduct it off the cash balance because it doesn't matter how I pay for it. It's still paying for it at the end of the day. I absolutely want to keep this. I am not a massive Sonic fan by any stretch, but it's the first game I ever remember having as a kid, being given, if you will. Not that it was Team Racing, it was Sonic 1 on the Mega Drive, but you get the idea. I do like Sonic, and I really want to play this as well. I'm a huge Disney fan, believe it or not, and Cars being in the Disney ecosystem means I kind of want to play this, like a bit of Cars. This sold for £12 in CEX when I picked it up. It's now dropped down to 10, and they trade it for 6, which means I would get just over half of what I paid back in credit. But I'm going to give it a go. Not anytime soon, it's not on my radar really, but I'm going to keep it because you never know, I might enjoy it. I was just never really into Spyro, had a PS1 quite late on, and by then I was maybe just a little bit too old to get into it. I don't think I was really. I just didn't play it. But anyway, enough of that. The first 3 games of my Xbox collecting journey going into the collection. Yes, they are all kids games. Judge away. Let's take our very first trip to CEX for this episode because we're going to pop in here a couple of times. I do have some more pickups to show you, of course. I wanted this, but it's a reprinted cover. I really want to play through a single player of like a first-person shooter. I've never played Battlefield 2042. It was meant to be terrible. Apparently they half fixed it, but still. I want to pick this up as well. I'm still waiting to hear back what people think of that one, but for 20 quid, I don't know whether it'll come down a little bit more. I'm guessing it will because, well, the others have, so why wouldn't it? This was wrongly priced at 25. It actually dropped down to 20 and then 18. I think they have since fixed it, I should say. And then I spotted a steelbook. This is Anthem for £2. which is interesting. It's interesting because I don't actually know what it is. I know it's a third-person thing. I don't really know if it has a single player. I think it does. I think it's one of those sort of live open world type games where other people are in the world with you. It's kind of multiplayer, but it's kind of single player. It's kind of cooperative. Either way, I'm not a massive fan of steelbooks, and I don't really know what Anthem is. So obviously, I bought it. £2 for a steelbook of a game that I'm not really sure of. You can understand why I would leave it there, but you can can also understand why I'd want to pick it up. The disc is in good condition, the steelbook itself is in very good condition, and it would kind of half look decent on a shelf. I'm not a massive fan of steelbooks, as I've already mentioned, but at the same time, they are growing on me a little bit. If you've played Anthem, let me know what you think of it in the comments. This was sent to me by the beautiful people over at GillyKit. This is the KK3 Max controller. I am under absolutely no obligation to even tell you about this, but when I got it, I opened it up, I had a little look at it, and I was a bit surprised. This is a beautiful controller. I was very, very surprised at the build quality of it and how good it feels. It has a few very nice features and one very big lacking feature, but as I mentioned, I don't need to do a review, I don't need to say good things, they just sent it to me and said, here you go. So let me tell you what I really like about this, and then let me tell you what I don't like about it. First of which is going to be the analog sticks. They feel so much better and they are quieter than that of a standard controller, but on top of that, they use different technology that they say will limit or eliminate altogether stick drift. Now I can't actually tell you whether that's true or not, because of course I've not had a chance to use this anywhere near enough where you would get stick drift. They seem to glide a little bit better than a standard controller would, and there's slightly less resistance. And then of course we come to the triggers. These are by far the best triggers I have ever felt on a controller. I've used Elite controllers before and they have good triggers, but these are magnificent. They don't go down all the way. Classic. The bumpers are nice, all the buttons feel really nice and responsive. It's a lot quieter than a standard controller when pressing a button, for example. And of course the back has some extra features, and they do give you some like back paddles and extra buttons and things. It is just a really nice controller. The one thing that annoyed me a little bit was that there's no headphone jack. That is the one big drawback with this, but that aside, if you don't need that, this is actually a fantastic controller. Big fan of it. Actually prefer it to that of the Xbox like standard controller that comes with the console, and I much prefer it to the PS5 controller because I don't like that thing in general. So if you're in the market, I'll leave a link to their page down below. You can go check them out. Let's get back into the action. Action being a Vinted pickup once again. Now, these two items I bought for trade purposes. They cost me £9 and 60 something pence altogether, including delivery, which was an absolutely insane bargain. Now, I was a little bit nervous having opened these because of the condition of one of the discs. However, let me show you them first. The first game is a classic. It is Crash Bandicoot something or other. Now, I've got absolutely no idea about these Crash Bandicoot games. I played it briefly as a kid on the PlayStation. I know, blasphemy, right? I've never played Spyro, I haven't played Crash Bandicoot. What have I even played in my life? I get it. But the other game is Minecraft PlayStation 4 edition. This is a £13 trade, and of course they try and sell it for 20 quid. Who's buying that for 20? I'll never know. The condition of it was less than stellar, if I'm honest. In fact, it was so bad, in a way, quote unquote, that I didn't think, well, I was almost certain CEX wouldn't take it. I listed it separately on Vinted and I put it on eBay as well because I honestly didn't think CEX would take it. I thought they'd go, no, once you get a scratch on a Blu-ray disc, that's the end of it, no thank you. Much to my surprise, they took Minecraft. Crash Bandicoot was in decent enough condition anyway, just a couple of fingerprints. So they gave me £13 for Minecraft and £8 in credit for Crash. I'm going to take off the £9, whatever it was, 60 something I think I said, off the cash balance. That's going down a little bit. I'm not too worried about that just yet though. The credit wise though, obviously I should be adding 21 onto the balance, but I mentioned in the last couple of episodes that I've made a mistake credit wise and I need to fix it because I actually had £47 in credit in my wallet, despite the fact that on screen it was showing 27. I have gone through everything over the past few months and I cannot for the life of me work out what the hell has happened. So in the interest of being fair, kind of, I guess, and just conservative to myself really, I'm going to deduct £10 in cash off the total balance once again, and then I'm going to add on the extra £20 in credit that I had in my wallet, because I guess that kind of makes half, it doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to do that anyway, rather than just adding the 20 quid on and forgetting about it, because I've made a mistake somewhere, so I'll just take £10 off the profit that we've made. So I'm actually going to add £41 onto the, what was it, 27 that we we had left. So on screen now are the figures that I have. They are as up to date as they possibly can be and as accurate as I can make them. As the title suggests, I have indeed caught CEX slipping, and you've been waiting for it, so here it is. I say I caught them slipping. I knew about this and it had been there for a while and no one had picked it up. So with my newfound credit, I had a look through the Xbox games and I was looking for something specific because I knew they had it in stock. And I knew that they priced it wrong, quite badly as well. No, it wasn't Constructor. I tried to look up gameplay of this and I cannot find anything about it. So if you've played that, let me know. The game in question, as I continue to go down, is Dead Island. No, it's not. But again, £12 for Dead Island 2. That is like 25, 30 quid on the PlayStation 5. This is the game. This is the Aladdin, Lion King and Jungle Book triple pack. This is not £6. As you can see, the sticker clearly says 6. This has been on the shelf in my CEX for quite a long time. Not buried in any way, it's still in the place it should be alphabetically, but my CEX has a bit of a problem with their Xbox games at the moment, and they're not really changing the prices of them, despite the fact that they've had big updates to prices recently. This is a find and a half. This is £12 in CEX. This is quite literally half the price of what it should be, and thankfully they honoured it. And that is the one thing I do love about CEX. If you can get there before they change the prices, or you find something that's the wrong price, they will honour 9 times out of 10 anyway. And of course, I'm sure it depends on which staff member you have and which store you go to, but mine are fantastic and they will honour whatever it says on the sticker. Because as the staff member rightfully said, that's not your fault, that's our fault, so I'll honour it for you. So thank you very much to that guy. Another trip to the lockers now for yet another pickup. I do have more coming actually from Vinted. I've been waiting for this next lot for a long time, but this was an unbelievably good deal. I can't remember quite how much I paid. I think it was £8 something for 2 games that are both going to go into the collection. And of course they are both Xbox games. But this was a new seller. Kept messaging me, oh, when they arrive, can you please mark it as received? Can you please leave me feedback? Do you want any of my other games? Blah, blah, blah. Just wouldn't leave me alone. But to be fair to him, posted them almost immediately. I bought them at like 2 a.m. and he posted them at like 6 a.m. So the first game, you may have been able to tell what it was from the back there, but I'm going to flip it round to show you the other game, because that was the more impressive one, and this is one I've wanted to play for a long time. This is £12 by itself in CEX, this game. This is Little Nightmares. I have wanted to play this for a while. It's in the whole sort of, not genre if you will, but it's the type of game like Ori, for example. It's just a game that I really want to play. It looks like a quite creepy in some senses, of course, but like a cozy game, if you will. I'm into that kind of thing right now for some reason. It comes with a soundtrack as well, a couple of fingerprints here or there, but for the most part anyway, that's in good condition. And it's, like I said, £12 in CEX. The next game, not as impressive, but still good. It is Forza Horizon 2. This is £8 in CEX, and as I mentioned, I think I've paid like £8 for the entire thing. Again, not great condition, but just fingerprints really. So another 2 games, already added 5. This is now 7, and I still have 4 to go, and they're not Xbox One/Series X games either, but £8 something spent on those 2. I'm really looking forward to playing this, if I'm honest. Like I said, I've looked forward to it for a while. It's one of those, you know, it's like Limbo and Ori and all those type of games for me. I mean, okay, they're not all exactly the same by any stretch, of course, but it's that type of game. Cozy, sit down, enjoy yourself, some puzzles here or there, and of course, I needed a racing game in my collection because I don't have one. I don't really have much of anything at the moment. Welcome edition, although I do think I've played this, which is a little bit frustrating in terms of like gamer score, because obviously it's one of the big draws for me playing the Xbox, but I actually think I've played this somehow. Those 2 go into the collection. Now, my next 3 pickups are all Xbox 360 games. They're not really worth mentioning, but I'm going to anyway. I picked them up in a charity shop and they cost me 50 pence. They were basically on the counter as I was walking out. There was loads of DVDs there as well, and I just picked them out and I was like, well, how much do you want for these? I don't really want them, if I'm honest. I was just curious, and she said, oh, give me 50p. And then I said, what, each? She said, no, just for the whole thing. So okay, I can't leave them there for 50 pence. Tiger Woods 09. It's actually in really good condition for a sports game. I don't have it, so I might as well keep it. Battlefield 3 comes with the multiplayer disc and the standard disc. It's actually limited edition discs in a normal case. I don't really know how that's happened, but still. And I already own this game, Game of the Year edition. It's not really worth selling by itself, so I've got no idea what I'm going to do with it. It's Elder Scrolls Oblivion. It's in good condition, actually. It doesn't come with a map, unfortunately, otherwise I would have just stuck it on the wall, because I like to do that. But yeah, 3 games for 50 pence. I've got no idea why they sort of thought 50p. Maybe they'd already looked them up and realised they weren't really worth anything. These are the type of games you see in a charity shop that have like £4 or £5 slapped on them. So to get them for 50 pence is absolutely not a bad deal, and I will just put them all into the collection. The Oblivion is going to look a little bit stupid next to Oblivion, but I'm sure I'll get over it. So a whopping 50 pence coming off the balance, but now I'm about to spend quite a lot of credit actually on 2 Xbox 360 games. They are 360, but I noticed that they just had Cuphead traded, and I was a little bit miffed to see that it had damage on the side. And I've shown this off a couple of times in videos, I think, and that's the reason why I've not bought it. £12 for Cuphead is an absolute steal, and I really want it. I'm looking forward to getting frustrated with it. Call of Juarez, I don't remember, and didn't remember whether I had one. The state of this was disgusting, by the way. Someone had tipped gravy over it or something, so I left it there. There were actually 2 Call of Juarez there, and I left both of them. I wanted this, and I've mentioned it in a recent video. I wanted it, and I thought, right, I'll put it back now because I've shown it in a video, and then when I go back around again after I finish filming, I will pick it up. So what did I do? Well, it's not here. I forgot. I just forgot it existed. It was like a shelf above my eye line, and when I was going back round, I didn't remember it, and I didn't see it because it was above my eye line. So I left it there. Otherwise, I would absolutely have picked it up. So what game did I pick up? I picked up Enemy Front for £10 on the Xbox 360. I have never heard of this game before until I saw it there on a shelf, turned it round to see that it was a World War II first-person shooter. What the hell have I been doing in my life that I've never heard of this? I've played Hour of Victory, I've played Turning Point. They're all absolutely god-awful. 2 of the worst games to hit the platform. This, though, this looks alright. As soon as I saw that this was a World War II shooter, I had absolutely no further questions. This was coming home with me. If you're new around here, I am really interested in World War II. I will watch anything to do with that time period. I don't know why, I just find it fascinating. When it comes to video games, I will play it, no questions asked. I don't care if it's a bad game. I will play through it because I get a lot of enjoyment from learning about the time period, or in some cases, obviously like Wolfenstein, where you don't have the time period, it's like an alternative reality of the time period kind of thing. Enemy Front, I've got no idea whether it's based on any sort of true story or not, but the one thing that I did read on the back that I like the look of is that you can choose to be stealthy, or you can choose to be some sort of like sniper-esque kind of character, or you can just run in there guns blazing, and I absolutely love that type of thing in a video game. The one thing I can't stand is when you get a mission, it says you need to be stealthy, you can't be seen, you have to do this incognito. I hate that type of thing. I cannot stand stealth because I am terrible at it, and I get really nervous when I'm trying to creep past someone, for example. If they see me and the mission's over, I get frustrated. If they see me and I can just gun down everyone in my sight and I can carry on with my day, that's the type of game I can get on board with. Enemy Front looks like that kind of game, and visually it actually looks quite good as well. So £10 of the credit spent on that, but I'm about to spend more than double on a game that I've never played. The art style of it, though, does really intrigue me, and some of you will know what it is. But before we get there, I had this on the PlayStation 4, and I may or may not have traded in a lot of games recently, and I want to pick it up again. I was going to, didn't come with a manual. Story of my life. Madagascar carts, I'm going to need to get it, but 15 quid is an absolute... Anyway, this next game, Sonic Generations, showed this off in a video recently, haven't played it, kind of wanted to get it. This next game I was going to pick up, absolutely. £18, I've got the credit, I need it in the collection, I actually fancy playing it. Street Fighter 4 Ultra, let's get it. Doesn't come with the manual, and for £18 there is no way I am not buying that game without a manual. It's just not happening. So instead I picked this up. Showed this off recently in that time where I couldn't buy it because there was too much of a queue. This is Ninja Gaiden Z Yaiba, or the other way around, Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z. Opened it here to see if it had a manual, because like I mentioned, I'm not spending all that money if it doesn't come with one. Thankfully, it did. So that and Enemy Front came to the till with me. £22 spent on this game, and I've got no idea about it at all, really. The one thing I do know is this is in fantastic condition. There's not a mark on the disc, it has the soundtrack, and the manual is crisp. Really big fan of games that look that good. Speaking of looking good, the art style in this game looks fantastic. It is nothing like any of the other Ninja Gaiden games, and I've not really played much of them, if I'm honest, and I know people go, oh, it's Gaiden, oh, it's Gaiden. I'm going to say Gaiden because it's how I've always said it, but I really, really like the look of this game. I've never actually played a Borderlands game properly, and I love that sort of stylized look, or cell shading, if you will. That's not how this game looks necessarily, but I am a big fan of different art styles in video games, not just games that try and look realistic. Yes, Forza looks like a fantastic game, and Ride 5 looks realistic, and I appreciate them for what they are, but then I love this type of game that has a completely different art style and just does something different that not many other games do. When it comes to the gameplay, I've got no idea whether I'm going to enjoy this or not, but I liked it enough and I don't see it enough to think, well, that's worth picking up. I say I don't see it enough. It's actually in stock in 11 different stores across CEX, which is actually a fair few. I don't suppose 11 copies is actually that many when you consider how many CEX stores there are and how many 360 games there are. So if you want my honest opinion, this is a game that is only ever going to go up in price, and if you want it in your collection, now, literally this second, is the time to act. Jury's out on this one, but I tell you what, I'm more excited to add those two games to my collection than I am anything else that I've shown you today, and I really do like the look of some of those Xbox One games, and I know they're nothing special, Cars for example, but I'm actually really looking forward to playing them. But these two, these have been on my shelf for a while. I bought these a little while ago, and I've just been itching to get them out of the cases and to get the stickers off them and everything, put them on the shelf and look at them, but also play them. This one, really looking forward to. But this is something that I just don't play very often at all. If you've played this or this, let me know what they're like. That is a pretty big haul. Granted, 3 of them are worthless in those Xbox 360 games that I got in a charity shop for 50p, but the rest of them, I am really happy with those pickups. I am not done. I am for this video, but I have a lot more to show you. Updated figures are on screen for you now. The credit is rock bottom, but trust me, that is set to go through the roof. In the next episode, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do and trade in all of my PS4 and PS5 games that are not exclusive to the console that I just don't care about. Let me know in the comments, how much credit do you think I'm going to get from trading in all of those PS4 and PS5 games? It actually blew me away how much money I got for all of the games that I traded. If you'd like to check out my most recent video, you can click here, and until the next time, goodbye.